You know, the rain in the past few days is a reminder May is the month we often see severe weather and flooding here in central Texas. But we are still in a drought, and there are major concerns about running out of water in the future. Many of us, well, we take water for granted. We turn on the tap and boom, it's right there. But the demands of new development and a booming population, along with the current drought, are putting a huge strain on our water supply here in central Texas and across the state. Judy Maggio is back with us to continue her series on KVUE News at 6, Running Dry. And Judy, I know we've seen a pretty good amount of recent rain, but I know the farmers, they are probably still pretty worried.
You bet they are. They're constantly worried about the weather, you know, Quita, but water is the lifeblood of Texas farms. These spring showers perk up the crops, but farmers need rain throughout the growing season. They rely on rain to keep their cattle and their crops thriving. We talked with two longtime Central Texas farmers and the state's agricultural commissioner to find out how farmers are coping with our shrinking water supply.
The work begins at the crack of dawn on this Williamson County farm, where Texas pride runs as deep as the tradition of making your living off the land. Mark Prince is a fifth-generation farmer. He's seen more than his share of droughts. Dry spells always make him worry about the well-being of his beef cows.
We haven't had any flooding rains, you know, to get our runoff for our cattle. We depend on the runoff for the stock ponds for the cattle to drink. And that's the thing that gets a little scary whenever it gets dry here.
But cows and half-full stock ponds aren't Prince's top priority when Mother Nature doesn't cooperate. The corn crop is his moneymaker. He and his dad and brother farm about 4,000 acres of rich blackland soil. In a good year, they produce a hefty crop of healthy corn. But unlike some Texas farmland, this fertile soil relies solely on rain. There's no irrigation. So during a prolonged drought, the soil shrinks and cracks and the crops take a beating.
Like on average here, the corn will make around 120 bushels per acre. And in 2011, a lot of it barely made 30.
Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller is well aware of the burden a lack of water puts on Texas farmers. And he says we need Texas farms to thrive.
We'll run out of land in about 700 years. We got lots of land in Texas to farm, but we don't have the water.
That's why he's one of the state leaders sounding the alarm about the need to act now.
How far away are we from actually running out of water in Texas?
Well, we're out of water. We've already ran out of water. We have no more water. We're to our limit.
In Texas, we rely on two main sources of water. There's surface water, like our lakes, rivers, and reservoirs, and groundwater, our aquifers and wells. The state owns all of the surface water. Most of that water is running low. Just take a look at Lake Travis. And that surface water is already allocated to all the cities, communities, and businesses that depend on it. Many of the aquifers and wells are also drying up due to the drought. Miller's big push, as lawmakers look at spending billions more on state water needs, is not only conservation and new technology, but repairing old leaky pipes all across the state.
Our cities lose about 30% of the water. From the time they get their water to they deliver it to the customer, 30% gone. They don't know where it goes. It's just bad infrastructure, leaky pipes.
While Texas farmers are grateful water is front and center at the Capitol, repairing leaky pipes won't solve their immediate challenges. Bob Avant is president of the Williamson County Farm Bureau and a lifelong local farmer. He says it's often the little things that warn you a drought could be damaging.
My wife has 4 pet donkeys, and I always have enough hay that I carry over for those donkeys. This year I had to buy some extra hay for them because there was not enough grazing in the wintertime to do that.
The cost of hay pales in comparison to the hundreds of thousands of dollars farmers spend on heavy equipment like tractors and combines. Federal crop insurance helps, but it only goes so far. Farmers' big fear is the drought we're in now will last several more years. This is the worst dry spell Central Texas has seen since the long drought that ended about 10 years ago.
It was a struggle on the farm. I mean, things just as a whole got pretty lean. I mean, we had to get diverse with our operation and kind of start thinking about doing work off the farm possibly if it got, just to provide for our families.
Despite the droughts, the stress, and struggles, Mark Prince says he can't imagine doing anything else. For him, like many farmers, it's not a job. It's a way of life.
I know Mark and all the farmers are glad we got that rain. Now, the water challenges are just making a tough time even worse for Texas farmers. It's estimated we lose one Texas farm or ranch almost every day to encroaching development. That last farmer you met in our story, Bob Avant, he can now see the new Samsung plant in Taylor from his back porch. It's kind of this constant reminder of the rapid growth and the demand on our water supply.
Definitely. And Judy, I know water and the lack of it is front and center at the state capitol. What is the latest on legislation there?
Yeah, the governor made it an emergency item. Well, both the Texas House and the Senate have passed multi-billion-dollar plans to do things like repair the infrastructure, create new water supplies, but they're hammering out the differences right now in both the chambers, and hopefully they'll find something everybody can agree on.
Well, they don't have a lot of time to do that.
Until June 2nd.
Thank you so much, Judy.